It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for The Last of Us on HBO. On this video, we're going to be taking a look at the confirmed differences between the TV adaptation and the video game. We know these from a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that we've seen in the last few months, so we're going to go through it. We're going to look at story expansions and plot deviations from the game. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to break it all down. Alright, as always, before we jump into this, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. Also, if you're interested in some of the behind the scenes photos and clips from filming of The Last of Us, you can go through the channel. I have a lot of those videos. They actually filmed The Last of Us in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, which is the city that I live in. So I've been able to visit set a few times in the past and capture a lot of great behind the scenes stuff. And also, we have tons of videos where I gather a lot of the things that I may not have necessarily captured myself, but other fans did. And we make predictions based on all of the pictures that have come out. So if you're interested in that, definitely go check it out. So with that said, let's get right into this. So the first change that we noticed pretty early on is instead of the video game where Joel, Sarah, and Tommy are white, in the TV adaptation, they're actually Latino. And this obviously caused a lot of controversy. At this point, obviously, we're going to have to wait and see whether this change, which I think is like a pretty minor change in terms of the whole thing, is going to impact the story in any sort of way. The next difference is that the Outbreak is going to feature a plane crash of some sort. We obviously know this based on the official picture, the only official picture that HBO has released, which is a shot of Joel and Ellie looking at a plane crash, but we don't see their faces. But obviously, at this point, we've seen what Joel and Ellie look like in the TV adaptation based on the behind the scenes photos and clips that we've looked at. The next difference, which has a few aspects to it, is that the Outbreak is now going to occur in 2003 instead of 2013 like the video game. So the TV adaptation is going to have Outbreak Day set around October of 2003. This connects to something else that is an addition to the story, which is that there's going to be some sort of a scene with some kind of a biomedical conference taking place. We see a picture of that here, and obviously this biomedical conference could very well be connected to the cause of the outbreak, which they never really dived into in the video game. This actually connects to something else that is an addition to the story. There's apparently going to be something going on in Jakarta, Indonesia, with a scientist and a general in the 80s. So it appears that, unlike the video game, they're actually going to give us the cause of the outbreak of the cordyceps fungus. The next difference, which is I think a pretty minor one as well, but it could impact the story, is that Tommy is a veteran in the TV adaptation. He obviously wasn't a veteran in the video game, so they're gonna change that. So that's pretty interesting. The next change, which I think is a pretty major change, is that instead of meeting Tommy and Maria at the dam, Joel and Ellie are gonna meet them in Jackson. Joel and Ellie spend time in Jackson and see a Christmas tree and various other locations like the Tipsy Bison that we actually saw in The Last of Us Part 2. When we first heard about this, there were speculations that they're potentially going to be bringing a lot of the stories from Part 2 into the first season of the TV show, but at this point, it doesn't appear that that's going to be what they're going to do. But obviously, they are going to bring in various locations from Jackson, which were featured in The Last of Us Part 2. The next thing, which is not really a change, but it's a confirmation, which is that the plot of Left Behind is actually going to be covered in Season 1. At least the stuff related to Riley specifically. We don't necessarily know if we're going to see that whole plot from Left Behind, but there's going to be aspects of that story that's going to be brought in Season 1, which is definitely pretty interesting. The next difference, which I think is also a pretty major difference, is that we're gonna see a Hunter's backstory including the overthrow of the Fedra from the city. And this leads to another minor change, which is instead of going to Pittsburgh like the video game, Joel and Ellie are actually going to go to Kansas City, which is going to be the location where the Fedra were located and were overthrown by the Hunters. Another change is that the St. Mary's Hospital is going to be in Kansas City instead of Pittsburgh. The next difference is that we're probably going to get a Frank and Bill backstory, and it appears that unlike the video game where Frank wasn't alive, in the TV adaptation, he's going to be alive and we're going to get a backstory with him and Bill, which is definitely pretty awesome because it adds a layer to the story that I think was definitely missing. And that's pretty much it. That's all of the main differences that we have learned about so far when it comes to how the video game is being adapted to the TV show. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to join our community, and press the bell to be notified when I upload on the channel. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.